Hello, so today I'm going to be doing another influences one, and this is a guy who was very influential in this country, in my country, the UK, and mostly as as a political artist, well, really, primarily, really as a political artist, and as you see from the cover here, this is probably the cover piece is one of the most, pretty much the most famous one, which is where he had put cruise missiles on the back, and as you can see here, some soldiers. But people were always focused on the cruise missiles on to the constable's highway on the cart there. It's a guy called Peter Kennard, and he's as I said, he's most nicely noted for his political work. So I got this book recently, so I was familiar with most of his stuff in the 80s that has been used for various things. So we'll go through this book quickly here. So this is a good one. This is one that he worked with his sons, one of his sons even. So yeah, so there's some good references to him. Even Banksy has said nice things about him, and other people like Naomi Klein and the Guardian, Britain's most important political artists. So let's quickly go through here. So it starts off early in his career, so 1960s. Well, stuff he did about Kissinger, what a vile man he was. A very evil man. So this sums up Kissinger. Kissinger actually absolutely 100%. Um, how war-minded he was, the realpolitik, all the suffering he caused, and a piece on the Kent State shooting. So obviously in the 70s, late 60s, 70s, he's going to be focusing a lot on Vietnam because that was the primary war going on. But in the 70s, there was, you've got Bloody Sundays, an incident that happened in Northern Ireland. Some of the political actions that happened in Chile, where the Augusto Pinochet took over the country and caused some major atrocities. And you see, this magazine he did something for. There's a magazine or paper called Keep Left. So he did for a lot of left-wing publications. And one of the main things he did about was for about war. He was very much an anti-war artist. So this is the constant theme you will see going through a lot here. But here, there's one about justice and apartheid, which is thankfully something that some of you viewers may not even know much about. Hopefully, because it ended in the 90s. The racist system in South Africa, and one of the things I have a very strong memory of is I remember watching the TV and watching Nelson Mandela be released, and I also remember in the 80s Thatcher calling calling Nelson Mandela a terrorist. I remember that clearly as well. So, and it's from stuff like this where maybe I get some of my tendency to do like this, the happy positive theme with the scene of trouble behind that kind of juxtaposition. So this is something I've never heard about before. Where somebody got murdered. Here, this is the biggest one. Like I said, the Haywayne piece. It's called Haywayne with crude missiles, and there's a picture of him holding a picture of his print above the actual painting. And these are some of the some of the literature that came out about the time. The Protect and Survive, I vaguely remember that when I was younger. That stuff turned up also a lot when I was watching the only film that has ever given me nightmares. A film called Threads. It's about nuclear war. So yeah, well, this is his original piece and how it appeared in the magazines. I've never done them like this, but his stuff is a lot more in the same vein as someone like um, John Hartfield's, where you would see things done like this way. But he's more professional artist than I am, you could say. And this just shows the history of that piece. And this is how it's been used a lot. So he was very much known as the anti-nuclear artist, but very much so a political artist. But you will find out most of his stuff here, as you can see, will be concerned a lot with nuclear war. I mean, he even got a cover of New Scientist, which is big. Again, all this. And the miners' strike, that's another memory of mine from the 80s. Because I was born in 1975, so I remember this. I remember the police being used against the miners. I also remember the Battle of the Beanfield in Stonehenge, near Stonehenge as well, where the police were used as a tool against travellers. And Thatcher, that was a big. She was a good person to attack in the 80s. Obviously, she was a lot, on my side of the pond. People were obviously doing a lot of work about left-wing artists were doing a lot of work about Thatcher, and over in America, you get people like Winston Smith. Reagan was his major target. Here you go. Sometimes it's about just good momentous events like the Berlin Wall coming down. Again, another thing I remember. So I did kind of come of age in some of the more momentous parts of history. And I haven't seen that one before. I got this book, and some of it's not. As you see, not all of it's straight cut and paste type collages. Some of them are a bit more artistic, proper art, or different print techniques. I shouldn't say proper art, because what we do is proper art, but what some people consider. I mean, this stuff's great. This says it. This kind of thing, just says it all. It's great witticism, and a badge based on one of his pieces. As you can see, like in the late 90s, the guy's still alive and still going. No, this was before I made my piece about controlling the world. But me, it was like a guy with a faces guy with a chessboard and countries. But you can see similarities. Yeah, stuff about the millennium. A lot of all of this. Terrorism. So as you can see, that kind of style where his style differs very much from mine. Something like that is a bit more like mine. This is an older piece actually that got used a long time ago, made a long time ago. Yeah, it was first made in the photo montage Defended to Death. It was made in 1983. He made the mask on a globe, photographed it, cut it out, and then he put a gas mask on a globe and then took a picture, cut it out, then put it on a photo of the Earth. So that's how he really got the shape for it then. And it's still being used now. Got used for the Stop the War protest. So see, this guy has John Peter Kennard. He's incredibly influential and very talented anti-war artist, and so he's one of these people that should always be. If you're starting to learn to do collage art, have a look more about this guy, especially if you're planning on doing the more political style work. So this might give you some ideas and show you good ways of how these things are done, because this stuff is absolutely striking. I mean, now we're getting to 2012 and still going, and Yeah. So I know later on he does austerity is something they brought about in the UK and in the mid 2010s just to make us suffer a bit more. So they screw up. They screw up, and we have to tighten our belts. It's caused a lot of suffering. That militarism, that is his main focus: war and militarism, but um, social change is a major factor in his work. And when they had a vote whether they're going to keep the Trident nuclear system, again they used this pulled this old piece out as they should, and plight of refugees. And this is all stuff I've never seen before I bought this book. This is the kind of thing you usually think of when you're talking about him. And here we go, Trump. A little bit about that buffoon. Only one of these so far has actually him directly though, and the Noose of Noughts, which is a similar class of modernisation for the current use like US arsenal. So as you see, this guy's Peter Kennard's work is absolutely amazing, and it took me. I only bought this book fairly recently, so most of the stuff I'd seen of his work was in the stuff that was in the public conscious, and also what I saw in Dawn Aids' book, which was a previous video. So let me know what you think of his work, whether you like it. So kind of in the same vein as some of the stuff you also see with from the Collage from G. Vorcha, especially the 80s stuff. That was the kind of vibe that was going on at the time. So you see that on a lot, and you see this kind of work, and sometimes literally this work on a lot of punk flyers or album covers and so forth. I'm not sure if Discharge used something of his once, because that was obviously some of the major focuses as the Cold War was coming to an end. So let me know if you like his work, and as always, like, share, and subscribe. My description has my link tree, which has my merch links to my socials, and I shall hear from you soon. Thank you.